The Fever Dreams of the Maltese Falcon, a Taipei Noir, year 2080. Episode 6. Better check on Frenchie, thought Lummix. It was very cold today. The temperature had dropped 30 degrees overnight. The climate crisis had become a fact of life in 2080, and everybody had dropped the term. They just called it the crisis. Lummix wrapped her coat and shawl tightly around her. She held a mechanical horse ride chair outside her office, punched in her destination on the fiberglass horse's back, and patted it. It neighed and set off at a trot. There was a time when these horse buggies had been shiny and the latest things. Now it was just a sad piece of junk, relegated to the downside, like everything that the upside got bored of or discovered had something wrong with it and it needed to dispose of without feeling guilty. That was the only way the downside could get any facilities at all. So Lummix supposed they should be thankful. Besides, the mechanical buggy was one of the few ways to get a ride into the upside. The sentries at the west gate of the wall could wave you right through because the upside folks found these contraptions amusing and liked to laugh at the poor saps who were forced to take them to travel in from the downside. She got to Frenchie's KTV hotel. Funny how Frenchie wanted to stay in a hologram musical hotel when he didn't like to sing. He probably liked the flashy lights and the glittery glamour of the people who patronized the place. Even for the upside, the Great Oyster Musical Hotel overdid the ostentation. Environmentally sound glitter falling everywhere. Musical fountains that played auto music from the energy it absorbed from the people in the lounge. And speaking of the lounge, Lummix caught sight of her hard-nosed little stalker again, pretending to read a hollow virtual mag. I doubt if he knows how to read, Lummix snorted to herself. The KTV hotel was a good place to deal with this young punk, too public for even this tetchy young fella to pull a gun on her, but discreet enough that nobody would interfere. She moved towards him. "What's the big idea?" she demanded, shoving his hand hovering over the hollow buttons of the mag. "What do you mean?" said the young fellow in an unpleasant, whiny voice. "You are real cute, you know that? What's your name, young fella?" "I'm not going to tell you, you old cow." "Oh, yeah?" And Lummix got hold of his ear in one neat move. She gave it a mean twist. The pale young man squealed in pain. "Now tell this Calvin auntie your name, or this ear comes right off, now." "It's Wessel," he gasped. Despite his hard face, Wessel was pretty young. "Well, Wessel, you have to take a message from me to your boss, Dàshān." "I don't know who that is." Lummix slapped him hard across the face. Detective rule number 5. Use violence only when necessary. And when you do, go for it. 100%. "Now do you remember?" She slapped him again. "You'll not only know who he is, but you will not waste my time." She let go of his ear, and he nursed it tenderly. "You tell Dàshān he can talk to me. Enough of this business of sneaking around and carrying on like we aren't all adults here. He needs to talk woman to woman, not man to woman, because that always means someone is lying." "He's a man, you cow," spat out Wessel. "Which is why he needs to channel his inner woman and talk woman to woman." Lummix slapped him again. "Again? Why?" "For luck, and to make sure the message gets to him that he needs to keep sniveling amateurs like you off my back. It's insulting." Wessel didn't say anything and got up and moved to another chair, his young face hard and murderous. A genial-looking man in his 50s walked over to her. This was the hotel detective, an old friend. "Hello, Lummix. Good to see you. Hope you've eaten. What brings you here?" "Mr. Wong. Hello." "Yes, I've eaten," Lummix returned the greeting. "It's good to see you, too. I'm here to see a client." "Someone staying here?" Yes, by the name of Frenchie. Caucasian, male, dresses expensively but badly. Hawaiian shirt, designer flip-flops. You know the type. But before that, I've got something to show you. Lummix pointed at Wessel. You don't want a lowlife like this Wessel here to be hanging around here now, do you? Lummix gathered Wessel's collar and hauled him up. What's the big idea? I didn't do nothing, you cow. You see how he talks to his elders? Mr. Huang, ever the professional detective, looked him up and down, took in the details. The tough guy, undernourished look the kids from the downside had, and the stupidly expensive clothes that kids like him liked to wear because they had more guts than brains, but had made good in their short, brutish lives. All right, Wessel, said Detective Huang. You know better than to come here and make a mess. Beat it! Wessel got up and brushed his designer hoodie, gave Lummix a dirty look. I'm going, but tell her to keep her dirty paws off of me. Now you go like a nice boy and tell your boss to hello me, like a normal civilized person, and stop sending lowlifes to stalk me. Firstly, they do a terrible job, and secondly, that is a very inefficient way to set up an appointment. Mr. Huang gave Wessel a genial look. Now you be polite, my boy. No rudeness in my premises. Miss Lummix here deserves all the respect in the world. The best goddamn detective the force ever had. Wessel turned on his heel and left. Lummix watched his back recede with a twisted smile. The best detective the department ever had being the operative word, said Lummix dryly. Oh, come on, Lummix. We don't win 'em all. You know how it goes. I sure do, said Lummix. She had been the best detective, but also naive. She could never play the corruption game that was par for the course once the imperialists took over her island country. And there was a price to pay for her inability to play the office politics game. She had to drop out and become a freelancer. Mr. Huang patted her shoulder in sympathy. Now then, Lummix, what about this character called Frenchie? Is there something I should know? He's a little slippery, Mr. Huang. He's a client, but it could go both ways. Has he come back yet? Not since last night, and I'll keep an eye out. He hasn't done anything shady yet, but thanks for the warning. Let's go find out if he's left a word, said Lummix, as she moved briskly towards the reception. But before they could have a word with the clerk, a very bedraggled-looking Frenchie stumbled up to the desk, his face mask askew. Room 347, he mumbled, sweating profusely, wilting over the reception desk, not even bothering to flash the health check stats on his Holio biometric card, where the receptionist discreetly zapped him with her epidemic check scan gun. Oh, you, he said, without much enthusiasm, on registering Lummix's presence. Hi, Frenchie. How you doing? How do you think I'm doing, was the grumpy reply. They worked you over pretty good at the police station, did they? Frenchie glared. Sorry about that, Lummix said, grinning, because of course she wasn't sorry at all. It was just payback for sticking me up in my own office. Come on, you didn't really think I would shoot you, did you now, whined Frenchie? That wasn't it. It was the disrespect. I don't appreciate the disrespect, Lummix said slowly, as if explaining things to a confused child. Okay, fine. I am not stupid, you know. The police didn't get anything out of me. I kept repeating the idiotic story you told. I felt really silly doing it, but I did it. You might give me some credit. That's the thing, Frenchie. The more crazy the story, the more likely people are to believe it. It's the reasonable stories that raise the red flag and get people poking around. You did good, Frenchie. You did good. Frenchie sighed and took out a towel and wiped his face. Who carried a towel in this day and age when people got microdermal surgery to make them sweat less? Well, I guess it takes all sorts to make up this crazy upside-downside world we live in, thought Lummix. She nodded at his towel with a smile of inspiration lighting up her face. Think about it. The story goes with your towel. It's not something anyone has used in like 100 years. You having one is crazy, but here you are, wiping your face with it. It's my dear old grandmother's. She got it from her grandmother, said Frenchie pensively. She loved me. She must have been a fine hippie back in the day. When they interrogate you again, make sure you flash it at them, said Lummix, back to business. And another thing, if you want me to find this cure, this needle in the haystack, you have to come clean about everything, and in front of Dàshān. I don't like being strung along like this. Everything has to be on the up and up, or not at all. You understand that, Frenchie? Sure, said Frenchie, his tired eyes flickering just a teeny bit. And no funny business, Frenchie. Don't provoke me. Oh no, Lummix. We're only interested in getting our hands on the cure. That's all. Back at her office, Lummix put her feet up and considered what she knew so far. Frenchie was looking for something that Dàshān was looking for as well, but they were not working together. But they knew each other and had possibly worked together before this. And the kid. The kid was involved in all of this somehow. The kid knew Frenchie, and they were both afraid of Dàshān. Speaking of the kid, better check on him, thought Lummix. She buzzed Xiaohua. The kid all set up, Xiaohua? The kid should be okay. Everything is set up for him. I got the best safe house for him, at my cousin's, not even at my mother's. AI cousins. That's great, Xiaohua. Why did she care so much about the kid? Lummix couldn't really bring herself to admit why she cared so much. But despite herself, the picture of her little brother Charlie floated in front of her eyes. She shook her head to dismiss the image. No, not now. She couldn't weaken like this, just when she was in the middle of a case. Subscribe to Taipei Noir on Spotify, Apple, and Google, or wherever you get your podcast. And please share with friends. Taipei Noir is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Non-Derivatives 4.0 International License, which means share it with your friends, but don't use it in your own work and don't sell it. See you on the downside.